morning, everyone. Let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day in Lee County. We ask you to watch over this board and give us the guidance to make the best decisions for everyone concerned. We ask you to continue to pray for the state of Israel. Please watch over our first responders and get them back home safe today. These things we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lance, did you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Harrell.
Here.
Commissioner Pitts.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Bierstadt. Commissioner Gould.
Having a forum, I'll call the meeting to order. First item, regular board meeting minutes from October 27th. Everybody had a chance to look at those.
I don't we accept as presented.
I second that.
Commissioner Harrell.
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Public comments. Are you wanting to talk?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, so you understand you have 5 minutes. That's
I could probably talk to you all day, but first off, I'd like to thank the board for allowing me to come and be before you this morning. And I also want to thank Daryl and Max was one of the first, that sat on the Union County Tourism Tax Board, and then David. So and Mr. Pitts, I don't know that I really know you very well, but anyway, good to visit with you. But basically my purpose is here today is I've been on this board, since the inception of it, the Union County Tourism Tax Board. And, I thought that I understood, kind of what, was expected whenever somebody brought a grant proposal into us to take a look at. And since the beginning of that time, we was making sure that the purpose of the grant before we approved it, and we did cut some of those grants, and some of them weren't approved by our committee before they went before the county board for final approval. And so now I'm beginning to wonder, is the board making a change in, how they handle these kinds of things. So, but anyway, my understanding is that this tax dollars is supposed to be used to promote and advertise for overnight stays in Union County. Of course, that's where the revenue comes from, people that stays overnight. And whenever that people don't stay overnight and they go to another county or whatever, that money goes somewhere else instead of Union County. And then, of course, once we review those applications, then we submit it to the county board. And the county board has, since inception, has always approved as we presented them as 100%. And so they were not cut. And I talk about the money that's, the tourism tax money. The owners of the cabins or lodging facilities are the ones that pays for this tax. In 22, Union County had over 63 owners for overnight lodging in Union County. And I'll tell you what, our cabins and our lodging to me is a fair industry for Union County with 63 owners. And in 22, it generated more than $2.8 million net income after taxes. That was, and collected and paid $143,800 and some dollars in tourism tax to the county. One thing that I give to some of the, to all of our members on our tax board was, I put this together myself, and I think it's pretty interesting. And it's called What Makes a Wheel Turn. And I feel like this is something that you might be interested in taking a look at. And basically what it amounts to is, without the tax dollars from overnight stays, there wouldn't be any tourism money at all. So if we don't get the people to stay in our cabins when they visit Union County, we're not gonna collect any taxes.
You got about 40 seconds left.
Do what?
40 seconds.
40 seconds. Boy, I ain't gonna get much done now.
Can we have that extended just a little bit? He did request to be put on
But it's not
the agenda.
action item, so it's not on the
Yeah, but he did originally request to be put on.
agenda. A lot of people request to get put on the agenda, but if it's not an action item, you don't get put on the agenda.
Well, all I'm saying is, Max, I don't wanna get into any, big issues over any of this. I'm here to, and if the county board has got a different direction in what we need to be doing as a, tourism tax board, we need some direction on that. And I know the big thing was, we submitted an application, some time ago, Cabin Rentals in Southern Illinois, which I'm a part of. And, we are a non-for-profit organization, and we've got certification from the state of Illinois, on that. And, we became chartered as a, association in 2013. And, we promote all of Union County with the money that we use. And the money we use from that association is to promote overnight stays in Union County. And Union County is where the money needs to come to. We list several hundred entities in Union County that get benefit from this. I'm talking about, and it's on our website. You guys take a look at our website. I know that Angie has looked at that. Of the restaurants, the coffee houses, the wineries, and the parks and orchards, and all that is listed.
Matt, cut you off.
Okay, Max, I want to know, when can I meet with somebody that can go over these things and defend, what I see is the reason why we've got these tax dollars. I want to know. I've talked to you on the phone about some of this.
I'll meet with you. That's not a problem. You've been told at least 3 or 4 times why the board made its decision.
I have never received any formal information, period, from the decision the
You
board
talked
made.
to Angie day before yesterday for an hour on the phone. She's told you the same
I've talked to
thing.
Angie is the only one, and
Well, she represents the board. She's our administrator. We're not here to argue with you.
I know. I appreciate
you
that.
coming and what you said. I understand that. We made our decision and that's what it is. We are looking at making some changes, as far as what this board does and why and how far. They're not complete yet. And when they are, I will let you know. Okay?
so what you're saying is the cabins are, might as well not even make an application. Is that what you're telling me?
I think we made that pretty clear. I'm sure you watched the meeting.
No, I did not.
Well, okay. I'm not saying anything. We turned that application down. The board voted unanimously. Okay? So that's the end of that story.
But we need to talk more about this,
That's fine.
okay?
That's fine. Thank you.
I actually abstained from that vote.
Well, okay. But anyway, it was turned down. So.
Tuesday, again.
All right, committee reports.
Well, this is going to present an interesting week because of the holidays, so I had to choose between two of my committee meetings. So I suppose rather than going to Olin next Tuesday, I'll be going to the Hoop meeting, which I'll have a key to get in here next Tuesday at 5.
Go, if you go down to the sheriff's office, they'll be able to give you a badge.
Okay, yeah, okay, that works. So anyway, yeah, maybe the next time I'll have something.
I forgot my numbers for animal control, I had them at home. But, we're moving along on the building. Other than that, I don't have any report. I think our population's down a little bit, you know, it's just, been such a busy summer, and now it's just, kind of slowed down a bit.
I was looking on food for the animals up there.
Did you go donations?
Still needing donations.
Still need nobody, help people donate.
Still need donations.
That's kind of a continuous.
Yeah.
It's kind of ongoing.
Did get a litter of puppies again off of the city dump road.
Didn't you have a meeting with the architects recently?
Yes. Kind of, right now, it's kind of looking at what direction we want to set the building, so. And I need to talk to you about that afterwards. I looked at that, so, okay, that's all I got.
Anyone else?
This is a holiday, I mean, this time of the year.
County has 2 open seats, so there isn't any representation from Union County right this minute. So it's wide open. And the criteria for being a member on our board is you have to be a business person and you have to have ultimate policy-making authority. So the owner or a manager, or if the owner doesn't want to go and they want to say that someone else has it, but that's what, a letter of that has to be there. So that's all it takes to be it. It's a really, really small time commitment. Our board does meet quarterly, March, June, September, and December. We meet at Harrisburg at SIC, or we also have Zoom. So it's usually a couple hours, if that much. So most people drive farther than the actual meeting. So just the first, it's the sheet that's not really in there, just kind of stuck in. Basically, our allocation does come down by counties. We're not required to spend it by county, but we try to keep it in that. So you can see how many participants. We did have access to $1.9 million last year. We have about an 84.67 per person, and that's pretty much state average. We've had people like at the city of Pulaski, helping with the street department, picking up trash and that kind of thing. A lot of times after a big storm, somebody will need somebody to help clean up trash and stuff.
Well, here's my train of thought on that.
Uh-huh.
We have literally bukus of old cemeteries in the county.
Yes, yes, They-
And they're in dire straits of needing some assistance with
Yes.
brush and
that is certainly something we can do, yes.
things of that nature, you know.
The only thing that we ask is, there's two things. They are there to learn to work, and it's those soft skills that until I got this job, I thought everybody's mama taught them, you know, like,
Yeah.
if you're on the schedule, show up. So that's what they're there to do, which is why municipalities are such a good fit, because they usually have a little bit of time to kind of mentor the person. But the other thing is we ask that you interview them if at all possible, because we want them to go through the whole process. And then they have to have someone assigned to be their supervisor. Now, I don't mean you have to sit there and hold their hand, we don't want you to do that, but just supervise them like you supervise anybody else. But somebody can be responsible to say, yeah, Joe is there, or Joe hadn't been here in 4 days, we need to let him know that.
That's something we may look into the future.
Is this based on the person residing in one of these counties or the actual work being done in one of these counties?
It's a good question. One or the other has to be. Generally speaking, we serve the people who are living in one of my 14 counties. Not to say if they're right on the edge, if it's more feasible for them to come to us than to rather like go to Mantricon, which is in Marion, we do that. But generally speaking, if a business would approach me that was not in my 14 counties, I would that option is for the body cams and the tasers one time, and basically you get them and then you pay them off over 5 years. So that's the payments that you're seeing there. If you go to the second page, this page only costs $5,270 more, not a year total. And at this one, at 2.5 years, they will replace them. So you'll have the ones now, and then 2.5 years in, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. 2.5 years in, they'll replace them again. It also carries a 3-year warranty on the items. Then if you look at the front sheet, it is $16,000 more overall. But for this one, they'll replace it at 2.5 years and then again at 5 years. So, and then when they replace it at 5 years, we know it's good for another 3 years. So with this option, you would have 8 years no matter what. But it also carries a 5-year warranty, unlike the other one that is a 3-year warranty. So what the sheriff is asking is if we could, instead of just buying the tasers for the $45,000 you've allotted, if it would be acceptable to use that money as the first year's payment on tasers and body cams, but you guys would then be committing to the next 4 years of making whatever payments you pick. What did I miss?
I was thinking of what you were saying. So basically, the body cameras we have now are just cell phones, and they're running the cell phone. You know how long a cell phone lasts when you're recording something, or you might not. They don't last very long. They're not made to do what we need them to do. So if you're on a murder investigation or a major crime, theft or something, dead body, you get about 2 hours out of a battery and it's dead. And it makes it really hard to convict somebody because they want the full footage of everything that was there. So I suggested going with them because they are the best. If you've ever watched anything on cops or anything like that, you look up in the top, it'll say Axon in the corner. That's what they're using. It is made, purpose-built for this, and this is what their purpose is, and they last all day long, guaranteed to last, I want to say they were saying like 14 to 16 hours is what they're quoted to last battery life. The price in this is everything included. We won't have to pay anything different per year for the 5 years. Everything's included in it. The charges for everything over the next 5 years. So the price is not going to change at all. The cameras are rated to last 3 years, so we will get 8 years out of them. They replace them free of charge no matter what. You lose it, drop it out the window of the car, it bounces down the road, you can't find it, they replace it, no questions asked, for the next 8 years. By law, we have to have them. There's no questions about it. If you don't have them, you're in violation and they're gonna come down on you. And right now, they are really hammering home about doing what the new laws are. So the tasers are 5 years, or not 5 years, they have a warranty of 5 years on them, no matter what. You don't get replacement tasers throughout this. You just get the taser and they cover it for 5 years, no matter what. If you lose it, break it, drop it, whatever, they replace it. They replace all batteries, they replace all cartridges. So every year, each individual has to shoot 4 cartridges, and that's $200 per individual for qualifying. They replace all of them. If you use them out on the street, they replace them, no questions asked. You just tell them you need more and they send them to you. It's all included in this package. Batteries is all included in the package. Anything we have is covered 100%. We don't ever have to deal with any of it up until I think the last set of cameras, which is at the 7th year. If you break a camera, then we'll have to replace it. Because it goes the 5 years plus when we get the new cameras, it'll add another 1-year warranty on the cameras. So that part, everything will be covered up until then.
When we get that 6th year, then we won't have no payments, right?
No, at 5 years, after the 5th year, we're done.
Yeah, but we'll still get 8 years of service.
Oh, well, yes, well, okay, let me rephrase that. On the 5 years, 6 years, we may have some payments there. It's not for any of the actual body cams and that. It will be the monthly cost of what it used for their evidence program, and, I was trying to think of what all was there. That's the majority of it, just, we have to pay for the evidence information for them to store it in the cloud. That way we don't have to deal with any of it. There's a monthly cost for it, and there's a monthly cost for activation, just like anything, like
So
cell
the
phones.
equipment end of it should be
The
done.
equipment end of it is done after. How it was all gonna work out, so, but I can shoot them an email or call them and ask them. They may offer another 3 years afterwards, especially since we buying if we buy the 3 sets of cameras, replace them with 2.5 and a 5.5, then we ought to get a 3-year after that to, cover the last ones.
I'm just curious, how are they maintain the batteries? I mean, do the officers come in and take the battery out of the
No,
camera?
no, it is inside. The battery is built inside of this one. You come in and you can put it on a docking station that's inside the sheriff's office, and then it'll do updates or anything of that nature. It'll do the video, upload the video, or as soon as they walk into the sheriff's office, it'll automatically upload the video off of Wi-Fi. But that's why they are replacing them at 2.5 and 5 years, because they say the battery life is 3 years.
Okay.
So they're replacing them at that time to make sure. And if you have a battery
No,
go
but
dead,
to keep them charged,
Yes.
they'll take them off and put them in a docking station of some kind.
they can, well, I didn't put in there to buy docking stations for everybody. Because if I'm not mistaken, on one of the papers I had, they were like $250 or $300 for a docking
You
station.
know, I mean, some of them would always be out anyways.
Yes, but I do have one docking station downstairs for the update program and that. They can just plug in with a regular cell phone cord and it'll charge it just fine. So they can charge it at home, they can charge it in their car, they can charge it anywhere, and it'll charge just fine.
Again, just curiosity, will each taser and camera be assigned to a specific officer?
Yes, yes. The one taser will be in dispatch. There's a taser in dispatch now in case we have somebody
No, but
on
they'll be
themselves.
specifically assigned to Lance as the camera.
The cameras will be specifically, yes, except I think we have one extra for the part-time officers.
Okay.
So it won't be, well, depending on how many we have, if we have one part-time officer, then yes, I can go in, but I can go in at any time and change whose it is.
Okay.
But the normal full-time deputies we have, yes, they will get their own body camera and their own taser and be theirs until.
Do you test these tasers before you send them out?
Do we test them? I have tested an X26.
Have you?
Yeah, and I didn't like it.
That's good.
But no, they, yes, you do go out every day whenever you, come on duty or whatever, you're supposed to drive stuff or, test fire it, and it keeps a log of it. That way you know it's working. And the X26, the 26P, and I think there was one more in there, have batteries that you take out and throw away, and you buy new ones. The new Taser 7s that we're looking at comes with rechargeable batteries for every one of them. So they'll be able to walk into the office at the beginning of shift, pull their battery out, set it in a charger, grab another one, stick it in and go. I think we can charge 8 at a time in the docking station that comes with it.
That way you always have fresh
You,
batteries.
you use the term dry fire, which is a good term, so you
Yeah.
take the cartridge off and fire it so that we don't
Also,
start
Yes.
replacing it.
On the X26, the ones that we have in the past, yes. On the new ones, you don't have to, you just grab the button on the side and hit it, and it won't shoot the projectile out, but it does dry fire and show you that it is working.
So if the officer does screw up, it doesn't matter, we'll get a free one.
Yes,
Free.
they will take care of it. We can train as many people as we want, with the 13, I think there's 13 or 15 tasers, 15. And that will cover the cost of all of them. It's $50 a cartridge, and you have to shoot 4 of them. walking into a store and they get into it with somebody and he starts his camera, it'll show what happened before, but there won't be any audio.
Okay, the only reason why I brought that up though is that all of a sudden things get a little intense and they forget to push the button.
Yes, that will work. It'll go back. There is an option to set them back to where they record all day long. You can keep it and go back and get what you want. But the problem with that is, if they turn it off to use the bathroom and then forget to turn it back on, then it's not gonna record when they double tap the button to start it.
Okay, that's what I was.
Yeah, so by law, they say it has to be minimum of 30 seconds, so that's what they're usually set up as. That way it catches anything that happens a little bit before.
Are there any other questions?
I get the good deal.
Oh, yes, there is grant funding for them also. Not for the tasers, for the body cameras, there is grant funding. So after we sign this, or if we purchase them, we can still go back and get the grant money for them to replace the cost.
Yeah.
I'm not on this side, I'm just gonna let it say it.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we accept the quote, whatever we want to call it, the Cadillac plan.
Yeah, I did you, I second that.
Just to be clear, option one, we'll call it for the $139,524.26.
Yes.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
All right, last item on the agenda, adopt procedure for road name changes. Everybody remembers we had a lady come to the last meeting requesting the road name change. You wanna
So we had
add
this,
a little to this that we've learned since then?
yes, so we had this, procedure that we talked about pre-COVID, and then COVID hit, and it kind of went on the back burner. And, but then, the lady came to the meeting to bring it back up again, because she's wanting to change the name of her street name. So I resurrected our old policy that we had come up with and, sent it to you guys to review. So then I sent you an updated version of the policy. So you have two. Your first one was the original. The second one is an updated version. The difference between the two, is in, I'll just read them because it's not that long. In the first one, it says the 911 department of Union County should be contacted prior to the preparation of the petition for change of street name to check for duplication of streets. So basically what that's saying is on the application, they can write down the name of that they would like to change their street to, and then they have to call Crystal, and then Crystal has to verify that it's not a duplicate name of a street already. In the second version, it has been changed, and it says the requested new street name must be selected from a list of approved available street names provided by the Board of Commissioners. Requests for specific road names not on the approved list will not be considered. So on this version, if you chose this, the county board would create a list of names. We would take that list of names to Crystal now, make sure none of them are duplicates, and then when someone made a request for the change of a street name, they wouldn't be able to pick what they want. They would select a name from that list of names. So that's the only difference between the two versions that you hold in your hands.
I think too, we have learned since then, this particular road is not a county maintained road.
This one that she's requesting is not a county maintained road, but it is a road that the county board at some time approved the name for it because it is in the 911 system. And so it's recognized in Crystal's system. So
The lane that goes back to one of my farms has a name on it, and I think it's Shady Lane, but I mean, 911 when it was created, but it's privately maintained.
yes.
Crystal, you got anything to add to this? I mean, what's your thoughts?
I feel like we should, if we're going to allow people to name their lanes in the future, we should let them pick their own names simply because typically it's a family farm. It's something that's personal to them as far as wanting to name something versus us coming up with a master list that they can choose from.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in doing a list. That's just me.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then,
that would last about as long as, you know.
I just want to say my concern is that we do allow someone to choose it, and we do elect to decline it. And then later, someone comes in and we approve that one and not the other one. We can just get ourselves in a kind of a can of worms there. But
Oh, I think we have to approve or decline it.
yeah,
We
but if
have
we
to-
decline you, but we don't decline
Well,
someone else, we could get ourselves in a significant can of
go
worms.
through the territory. I mean, that's-
Angie, can you refresh me, what was the criteria for naming? Does it specify on a private lane? Whether it has to, it used to be two, like adding a third, you know, you could just have
That's
one,
what I thought.
one house. But they are out there, I'm not
Thought
gonna
it
say
was
that they're
two.
not out there because they
Yeah,
are.
this is a good example.
Right.
I mean, if there's only one house on this road.
It's a very big deal, changing a name in your system.
I mean, it's not a big deal to change one. I have to change it in our map, our database, our CAD program, update it with the phone companies, the post office, so that everyone's on the same page. And then the people would also have to, of course, go through their address change if they have any professional licensing or things like that.
The worst part about you don't want a bunch of people just wanting to change their
Yeah.
road is mostly for emergency services.
Yes.
Because they get a call, they tell, 911 tells them the road, they know where it is, and they go there. Well, if all of a sudden you've changed Apple Lane to Blueberry Hill, he doesn't know where he's going. So that's the most important thing. It's actually to benefit the residents to not change your street names, because a lot of people already know the streets in this county.
I thought if we didn't.
Sorry, Nancy's telling me they're called roads in the county, not streets.
County have roads, cities have streets.
Do we actually have a list of reasons why we change, can change? You know, just not a whim, but actually a list.
I thought we changed it before where you couldn't have a name.
Yeah, I did too.
I was thinking that was something we adopted before.
Or religious connotations.
Yeah, it was
or-
something, like there were specific things you couldn't make it a name anymore because of this issue.
Because, I mean, the Howman request,
Yes,
we made him choose a different lane other than Howman.
because he wasn't able to use Heilman, we were going to make it something.
And I guess that goes to my concern, if
Yeah.
you're living on a road and everybody in the county wants to come in and name it themselves, and then 5 years later, the new owners buy it, they want to change it. And again, whether we use a
Yeah.
religious connotation or sexual connotation or some other ones that could be construed as a
Well, again,
conflict of interest.
we have the final say so on that, so I mean, it's not.
Just because you have a lot of people wanting to change their names, their address, because the procedures you gotta go through to get all your mail changed over and things.
But as properties transfer, like say I was, I had a private lane and I sold it, it was named Gurley Lane at the time. Well, I sold it to Anthony, well, now he wants to change it to Pena Lane, because now we don't want to live on Gurley Lane, because he owns it now. So it just kind of, as property transfers, just is gonna become a revolving thing, I think, as you go through the generations. So I think if we set somewhat strict guidelines that we're not going to allow you to name a private drive unless you're putting 4 or more structures back there, where it's gonna kind of more be a subdivision versus a driveway.
So if we went to non-name neutral roads, like mine, Wild Turkey Lane, that's kind of a neutral, anybody can live there and it'd still be Wild Turkey Lane. So if we stuck to that rather than say Harville Lane, which, you know what I'm saying? That way, if the place did sell, the people would be more likely to want to change it. I understand that, but if we went to more, like Cardinal Lane or,
Personalized.
Lane or.
Nothing personalized with.
Yeah, and that's, Crystal, I agree with you. I mean, that's what I just don't think we ought to allow people to, just because they transfer properties, Unless there's a specific reason, like, I mean, I'd hate to live on Gotti Lane, because I got divorced, from him. I definitely want that changed, but I would say, okay, we'll go to Bluebird Lane.
That's the problem dealing with Lake House.
Something more neutral.
Yeah.
The issue, so. And she had a neutral name she wanted to use anyway,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
wildflower.
But I think originally your comment about changing it to where it's use the word neutral.
Is that what she was wanting?
It's something like, I don't remember what it was, but it was a neutral name, which I think. Yeah, right.
So right now, the policy is, the way it's written, it's 100% up to you guys. They select the name they want, they come to you. If I were to do it and I would say on the application, I wanted to change my road to Johnson Lane, I would come before you and you, at that time, you would have the opportunity to say, no, we're not approving that. That's a last name, pick something different. That's the way it's written now. If you want it changed, I just need to know how you want it changed. Like, do you want it to say in here that the commissioners will not approve personalized options such as last names? What else do you want?
Religious connotations
Or do you leave it open and it's 100% up to you guys? That's your options.
I personally would like to see it written to where we don't get in a discriminatory situation down the road. With all this, is gonna be one sentence. Or two.
Well, it's fine with me, I don't care, I just want it left in there still, we have the discretion to decide. I don't care what name they come up with, it's up to us.
Maybe not back yourself in a corner, because you might want to dedicate something to somebody, community member, to make them a road at one point, and maybe that's their name. So I wouldn't back yourself in that corner. I just still leave it up to you guys and decide what you want to do as they come in.
Should we put in this application process, their primary and secondary requests that give us an option at that point?
On the extra work for Crystal. Because you'd have to look at both names to see
At the same time,
I mean, I think we're making this a big deal. I don't.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys want to do is fine with me, I don't care, but I mean, it's.
I wouldn't put yourself in a corner.
It's not that
I don't either, but I think though that
Limit.
I just want to get us sued later because
I think it's-
what would we have, like one request a year maybe, or one every other year name change?
Well, you had Heilman that was in here, but his wouldn't have applied to this anyway. His was an unnamed road. And it specifically says this is not for unnamed roads. So I've had one since I've worked here in 2016.
It's the same one.
Her, I mean, that's it.
It's been hers since we've been here.
Yeah.
Do we have a policy for like unnamed roads if someone comes in? Do we already have an approved policy? for that?
No, when we talked to Jeff, when it was an unnamed road, basically he just came in, Heilman did, and talked to the board. And then Jeff was like, yes, that road isn't named, it needs to be named, and they just picked the name and approved it, so.
Yeah, I think that road had a duplicate name. It was the same road, it just split, and so he was wanting to rename that portion of the road that was separate from the other one.
Yes, because I guess his address was saying the other road and not the road that actually went to his house. He actually had, I think EMS had to come out and couldn't find his house
Is that off of
because,
Boyd Road, Cody?
Yeah.
Okay.
All that.
that's why, I mean, you and I talked about it, and you change that to say that, the board has final authority on any name request. But
well, that's the way it is for the first one. So I just need to know if you guys are wanting to put specifics in there or not. Like, are you wanting to say, we will not approve a last name, a religious name, what vulgar name? Are you wanting to put that in there? Or are you just gonna tell the people when they come? I never thought, like Lance said, that I guess there could be a point that maybe you would want to name a road after a person.
Yeah, like Herman Wright Drive.
We,
So-
I mean, that's where we could make an exception to the rule, but I'd sure like to in the long run protect us.
Well, we can't, if we have a policy, we have to amend the whole policy again to do that.
I have one more quick thing to add. If you have a hot piece of real estate that changes hands a lot, is there any amount, a limit of times that they can have the name changed on this particular lane of road?
It's gonna be up to you guys. They're gonna bring it to you and it's gonna be up to you.
It's up to us. I mean, again,
Yeah. I think we'll put in here that
It's already, again, that's our decision. They have to pay for it. I mean, it's no cost to us, but it's our decision, so.
So every time Crystal has to go back into the system, it makes more work for her.
I think a case-by-case basis would probably be the easiest way to handle it versus trying to be super specific, but
And
maybe
we-
Tyler's legal could
Case by case.
give some
Yeah,
guidance
since
on.
we've only,
At our-
you've only had this
Whether
one.
we should-
just
Why don't-
one,
why don't
This one.
I would agree.
So we've not really.
Giving, putting specific terms within
That you
the
start
ordinance, or just
yeah.
use it case by case.
I mean, the best solution is to give yourself the discretion to make that decision. I think that you'd be fine with excluding a personal name of someone. I live on a lane, it's Casey Lane, that's Ray Casey, who had my place years and years ago. I'm an example of a lane that has that last name thing going on there. You do, however, want to be able to have this discretion if you've got some war veteran or a very upstanding person. I think we have a Shope Drive, and things like that. So it could be tailored to where you have the discretion to accept a name, but the general rule would be you don't use the name of a property owner only for the sake of them owning the property. You have discretion to deny it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying, the way it's written right now, again, it's up to us.
Right.
We don't have to, if we want to name, Tyler Tripp Road in honor of you, somebody shoots your ass,
You got
we can do that. I'm just saying, I mean, I don't want to limit it, but at the same token, as long as the board has control of it, I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah, that's good.
I think for privacy matters, we wouldn't want that authority anyway. To name particular lanes in a vindictive manner.
If you want to try and address the question to avoid having to make a bunch of decisions where people are still submitting requests to change it to a personal name of some sort, you could amend it and put that, caveat into the policy that says there's going to be a general denial of naming roads in the personal names of individuals with the discretion of the board to review and consider justifications for naming.
And that's fine. You guys want that in there, that's okay. I mean, again, we're making this more difficult than it is.
Well, what about that list of approved names?
Well, I mean, again, you're just opening yourself up, then you gotta, why do you want a list?
But they would also have to meet the criteria for a name change.
I know, but again, if we have the discretion, if they come and want a road named XYZ and XYZ is not on this list, or it is on, again, it's up to us. It's not up to them just because they want it.
I think the taxpayers should have a little bit of say in where they live at.
Well, I'm not saying they shouldn't. I agree with that, but I'm just saying the way it is right now, you can come to the board and ask, and we either approve it or we disapprove it. It's just like her. She's wanting to change. The reason she's wanting to change, I don't agree with, but the name she has picked, I don't have a problem with it. And we're not having to go to a list to see if it's already approved. We can approve it and move on.
Well, it's just like, okay, we're all White Sox fans. you have a Cardinal fan. I want to name my lane Cardinal. All of a sudden, the White Sox board says, no, you can't have that.
You know, Angie, I just had Tyler, you draft that one sentence or two sentences for technical. And I'll vote, I'll support that as the state's attorney giving that opinion. But that's,
Can you just email me what you said? I don't have to go back and listen to the tape. Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna table this till you get that back.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. All right. This table change my name. Goes on there. All right, I don't think we have anything for executive session, do we? Anybody? Other business?
We've got a food drive coming up next weekend, the 18th from 8 to 4 at Kroger. So we'll be out there collecting food for the Shawnee Development Council Food Bank.
will you send out emails to remind all of us?
I think Miranda sent out an email earlier this week and we'll send out another one.
Some when it gets close.
Well, Veterans Day is here. Everybody got there and honor your veteran and have a good.
We done? Anything else? Anybody?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. But before I do, residents of Union County, please get your pets spayed or neutered from the Union County Courthouse.
Who's second? Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.